10 fragrances that have gotten better with age, and I do want to clarify this. By that I don't mean the maceration process or the actual aging process of the fragrance. That's not what I'm referring to here. I'm just talking about as time has gone on and as trends have changed within the community, it just seems like these have started to fit in even more, and they've just kind of aged like fine wine. Now, to that former point, I could probably do a video on that, because while some people do think it is smoke and mirrors, and in some cases it is, I do own fragrances that have changed over the years. And it's not just my nose either, because I can go and smell new bottles and there are differences. You know, fragrances, especially higher quality ones, and when you start getting into niche, are compounded differently. They're using more naturals, and so those fragrances will start to change and kind of develop in certain ways like that. So maybe I'll do a video like that at some point in the future. That's just not this one. I will provide links to all of these down below to discounters, so you can pick them up at a price below retail. Let's just get into it. We're going to start off with the 2015 release, which doesn't really sound all that long ago, but it was actually 7 years ago, which is really crazy to think. This one, the reason why I'm picking it, well, I'll just go ahead and show it to you. It is Versace House, my favorite, actually my scent of the day as I'm recording this today, believe it or not. It was a very hot and humid day outside, and so contrary to popular belief, fragrances like this can work well in the heat if you're just a tiny bit brave. Come on, guys. So this one has fruity notes like plum. It's got watery notes, ambroxan, bergamot. Very citrus heavy with a good dose of sweetness. This is the Invictus Aqua 2016 DNA. This is where it started right here in 2015. Now, the reason why I say that this one has gotten better with age is because it just fits in now more than ever. Take a look at what's being put out now in 2020, 21, and 22. We're getting a lot of sweeter, summery fragrances. YSL, EDT, EDP, Parfum, even Eau Fresh to some extent there has a bit of that sweetness, and so many more. They're being put out that are kind of this new take on summertime scents. Instead of just being citrus and aquatic and that's it, we're going more citrus aromatic with sweetness, you know, Ralph's Club and so many others. The list can really go on here. And so to me, this one fits in now more than ever, and it really kind of had a jump start on this whole trend as well. So I think this one has really gotten better with age. It's more relevant now than I think it ever has been, even though it kind of originated the Invictus Aqua 2016 and that started taking off. This one never really got full appreciation, but I do think it's its time now. This one you can also get for like $40, 100 milliliter, which is absurd considering on my skin, this is a 10, 12 plus hour scent. Jump all over this one for summertime. You will not be disappointed. Next up, we have Mugler's Angel Men. This one has coffee. It's got patchouli, some woods, kind of almost this tar type of smell. It's very unique, very interesting. It is a masculine men's scent with some slight gourmand qualities. Now, this one here has been out for a good while, and there are some niche fragrances out there that have kind of played on this one a little bit. There may even be some other designers. I'm sure there's clones of this one as well, but it's popular stuff. It's made its mark, and it's a little bit challenging. And you know, it definitely, I think, got the love it deserved when it first came out. I'm not saying that this was underappreciated or anything. I just feel like now more than ever, even though there have been so many flankers of this one, which also have now mostly been discontinued, or just kind of back to the original, I think this one has really stood the test of time. And it kind of follows that trend of just branching out and being a little bit different, maybe a little bit weird, some would consider this one to be. And I just think it's aged like fine wine. This one here is still worth picking up and having around in your collection. Typically $60 per 100 milliliter here, which is not bad at all. Good quality, good performance, and very unique. This one up next is a personal favorite of mine. I've got so many bottles of this one just because I went in and tracked down a bunch of 2015 and 2016 bottles just to kind of get around that launch year as best as I could. And it's truly a special scent for me personally. A lot of people nowadays are kind of over it. They've moved on to other flankers. They've moved on to other fragrances in general. But to me, this one still smells as good as the first time I smelled it. Actually, I think it's even gotten better. It's Dolce Gabbana The One, Eau de Parfum. You guys already know the note breakdown here: tobacco, amber, all of that good stuff. Hints of grapefruit up top. It is a gentleman's, masculine, divine date night scent. Still, to me, one of the best date night fragrances on the market, hands down for men, just my opinion. There's a ton out there. To me, out of everything I have, still one of the best. And so I just think this one has really stood the test of time. It's timeless. It's a masterpiece. It is going down in history here. It really, really is. Came out in 2015, so while it still may seem new, it's not really new anymore. This DNA's been around for a good while now. It's been tried, tested, and proven to work, and it works very well. It's more fall and winter time if you want to put a time of year on it, season on it or whatever. For me, I'll wear it in summer evenings, in an evening event or something along those lines. I'll wear it before I go to bed. It's just something very relaxing. I get use out of this one all year round, and I love it. Next up, we have a cheapie from Versace. So typically Versace is going to be in that mid-range, slightly under, 45, 50, 100 mil. This one I believe is going to be mid-30s or so, maybe low 40s. Versace The Dreamer. So there's a couple versions. This is the new one. It's got a lot of aromatics here. That's what it's all about. Lavender, some citruses in here. It's a bit more classic, a bit more kind of traditional, but it's still timeless to me. I mean, this doesn't smell old, to me anyway. It doesn't really smell dated, but it is a different style of men's fragrance. There's a good amount of a dusty, powdery smell also, kind of giving it a little bit of a sweetness depending on how you look at that and interpret that. I mean, it's nowhere near like a Ferragamo Uomo or an Armani Code Absolute or anything like that. That's not the type of sweetness I'm talking about. But there's a bit of a dusty powderiness, which I think suits this one very well, mixing with the lavender. It's clean and fresh with a little bit more depth, and it's really nice stuff. It's been around for a good while, but I still think it can really hang in this day and age. And again, for the price, it's hard to go wrong with. Up next, I have one that I know a lot of people are going to love. This is Prada L'Homme, just the original. Intense, discontinued. Absolute, discontinued. All we really have is Low and Water Splash, which are kind of the same thing, and this one here. So this one will never get discontinued, at least I would certainly hope not. It's got iris, it's got neroli, a good bergamot note in here. It's the iris trend, right? It's kind of their take on a Dior Homme Eau, so to speak, even though they are quite a bit different still. I personally prefer Dior Homme Eau, still always have, always will, but that one is discontinued, of course. This is kind of Prada's front runner for men right now. It's really carrying a lot of weight, and it's a great, great scent for work, for school, for the office. You don't have to work in an office to wear this one, just work in general. But it does kind of have almost that, clean suit and tie office type of smell to it. But you could wear it for literally anything. You could wear it grocery shopping. Like, it does not matter. It's so versatile. It's so clean. It's so fresh. So upscale and masculine that it's just one that is hard to dislike. It's a light floral for men, citrusy. You can't go wrong with it. If you're into fragrances that are smoky and have a lot of depth and richness, then this may not be for you. But if you're down for an easy to wear daily scent, Prada L'Homme is the way to go. I believe 2016 is when this one came out, somewhere around in that area. And it still smells as good, if not even better nowadays, because iris is being used more and more. Even now we're getting new releases focusing on iris. And this one here kind of jumped the gun and got ahead of that before a lot of the other brands did, which put them in a good spot. And it fits in really well. Next up, Bentley for Men, Eau de Toilette. So not the intense version, although the intense could have fit in here as well. Wanted to kind of bring this one up just because between this and the intense, this is more wearable. It's easier to get along with. A lot of people struggle with the intense. I mean, it's probably one of the more controversial fragrances on my channel. And it's a cheapie too. It's literally $30 for 100 milliliter. But people will get up in arms over that one. No matter how well you describe Bentley for Men, intense or otherwise. You know, people will dive into it and they will absolutely hate it. It's smoky, it's boozy, it's spicy. It's not for everybody. You have to make sure you're careful. More so the Intense. The original here still has a lot of that strength, but it is dialed back, and between the two, again, much easier to get along with. I don't remember when this one came out. I didn't look. I know it's been out for a good while. Same with Intense. They've got a lot of flankers now, kind of going in the more modern direction with stuff like Silver Lake, that sort of thing. But just Bentley for Men, the EDT, the forefront of the line, I think it's aged tremendously well. I think it really fits in with that kind of masculine trend that some fragrances and fragrance brands are kind of trying to dabble with now. It works really well. And again, at the price point, you really, really can't knock this one, at least in terms of quality and all that sort of thing, because it brings a lot to the table for a cheapy price. It's impressive. Dunhill Icon. So I remember this one being hyped up when I first started, going on, what, 5 years ago, something like that? Actually a little bit longer, because I was, you know, I had my channel after I started, so well over 5 years ago, when I was just, you know, looking into fragrances and watching videos before I had a channel. This was getting hyped up and described as like a grape soda smell. And I was like, what? You know, what could that be? And I didn't get it for years later. I think only within the past probably couple years I've gotten this one here. So it really took me a long time. Not sure why. It happens a lot. It's cheap. It's, you know, 35, 40 bucks, 100 milliliter. It's not like I had to save up a bunch of money to get it. It's just one of those ones where it would land in my cart, kind of forget about it, take it out, replace it with something else. You know the deal. Happens a lot with myself. And it's one I wish I would have gotten so much sooner, because it's incredible. You get a good dose of neroli in here with citrus and bergamot, musk, some light woods, some more florals like jasmine and some florals like that, mostly white florals. It's really incredible. And it does have a grape soda smell, which is bizarre, but it works great. It just nowadays seems like it fits in so much. It seems like it's aged so well, because it also implements a little bit of that sweetness into a summer fragrance and a little bit of a fruitiness, being that it has a grape smell, right? I just think it fits in super well with what's being put out now and still remains super unique. Like, there's nothing else like this one, and I think that is super cool. Alrighty, Azzaro Wanted by Night up next. We've got cinnamon, we have some fruity notes, a little bit of tobacco in here. This one just took off in the best way possible for the brand. I don't even know if they were expecting it, but it did. It's really the best in the line. Now, the new Most Wanted Parfum, for me, probably is coming in at number 2, followed by the Most Wanted at number 3, and then Wanted 4, Tonic 5. Is that covering all of them? I think it is. Something along those lines. This is just so good. I love it. It's that original Wanted DNA, so kind of that lemon freshness, but with a nighttime appeal, a spiciness, a sweetness, a smokiness to a slight extent, a little bit of a mysterious factor, and I think it's really good. Don't remember the year this one came out either, but it has kind of established itself, and it's been out for a good few years now. And just even this past winter, the amount that this one showed up all across the community was incredible. It was no stranger to my channel, I know that. And it's not just because I just feel like focusing on something randomly like, oh, hey, I'm just going to talk about this all the time. It's because when you see value like this for the price, 40, 45, 100 mil, you can get 150 mils like this for not a whole lot more. When you take into consideration the performance and the scent and the quality, when you're onto something like this, that's this good, after smelling a bunch of mediocre stuff and, to put it frank, a bunch of cheap garbage as well, like I have smelled trying to find new stuff, when you lock onto something like this, it's hard not to get excited. Wanted by Night, this is incredible stuff. Alrighty, second to last, we have L'Homme Ideal Eau de Toilette by Guerlain. So we have the EDP, we have the Extreme, we have L'Intense, we have Cologne, not anymore, but we did. We kind of have/had Cool. I've got no idea what's going on with that one. This whole line is just kind of strange. In stock, out of stock, you never know what's going on. But the EDT is a little bit slept on, and I try to bring it up. This is a 150 milliliter bottle. These are not expensive at all. It's one that is pretty much always in stock. You can get it just about on any discounter, and it's one that people seem to forget about for it's kind of a shame, honestly. It's got almond, it's got some leather in here, your typical scent. This is where this DNA was derived from. Now, the EDP I still probably do like better. The Extreme I still probably do like better, but it's hard to not deny that the EDT is held up incredibly well. Like this scent DNA, this particular original version still smells amazing. I think it can compete with all of the amazing flankers that they put out, and it's just one of those ones that you should not sleep on. A little bit of an oddball one for the last fragrance here, one that, again, people can kind of do without, some hit or miss type of thing. It's Dolce Gabbana Intenso. This one's got notes like hay, there's some tobacco in here, a ton of aromatics, lavender, probably your clary sage and all of that stuff. It is different, you know, it's just kind of out there for some people. Some people just don't really care for it, and I can see why. But this is for the people who want something different, perhaps even a bit of a challenge. It can be a little bit tough to pull off for some. But it's one that I think is held up impressively well. It hasn't been discontinued, and we all know how designer brands go about discontinuations. They are quick to cut something off if it's not selling. And I don't feel like this would be one of their hot sellers, especially outside of the community, right? I feel like this would be more in the community, if anything, and it doesn't seem to get a lot of love in the community. So I don't know. It's still around. You could still get it. $44, $45 for what is this, kind of an oddball? Yeah, 125 ml. It's affordable. You know, it's much more affordable than a lot of the light blues, right? And those are, you know, very popular ones, of course, but I don't know. It kind of impresses me that it's still around, and I'm glad it is. It's an eau de parfum. It's a really nice scent. I really do like it, and I think you guys should check it out if you want something different. I think it's done incredibly well, given that it's a little bit different. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. 10 fragrances that have aged incredibly well. These have held up, they've held the test of time, and they're still going strong, and I think they're going to continue to. Links to these will be down below to the best prices. Make sure you're also over on my community tab where I post the best fragrance deals pretty much on a daily basis. You could save a ton of money over there. You can also spend a lot of money too, which is all part of the fun, but at least while you're spending money, you're saving money, because I'm bringing you the best prices, the lowest prices on some of the hottest fragrances around. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.